What if I told you that the most powerful wealth building system in human history wasn't created by a hedge fund manager, a tech billionaire, or a Wall Street quant? It was carved into clay tablets over 4,000 years ago in the bustling markets of ancient Babylon. In 1926, George S. Clason published The Richest Man in Babylon. On the surface, it's a book of fables, but underneath, it's a masterclass in financial psychology, behavioral economics, and timeless money principles that outperform 99% of modern finance advice. Today, I'm not just summarizing this book, I'm reverse engineering it. I'll show you exactly how Arcad went from a broke temple scribe to the wealthiest man in Babylon, break down every single rule, expose the psychological traps that keep people poor, and give you a step-by-step implementation system you can start today. This isn't theory. This is a wealth operating system. Let's begin. Why Babylon? The psychology that never changed. Babylon wasn't just a city. It was the financial capital of the ancient world, and Clason chose it deliberately. Why? Because human nature around money hasn't evolved. We still face the exact same temptations: instant gratification, status spending, fear of investing, trust in experts, and the illusion that wealth requires luck or genius. The book uses parables because stories bypass our logical defenses and speak directly to our subconscious. You don't remember formulas. You remember characters. You remember failures. You remember breakthroughs. That's why this book has sold over 30 million copies and is still recommended by Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, and modern financial coaches. But here's what most summaries miss. Babylon's wealth wasn't built on gold mines or conquests. It was built on systems, on discipline, on the quiet, unglamorous habits of ordinary people who understood one simple truth: wealth is a behavior, not an event. The core parable: Arcad's journey from scribe to richest man. The story begins with Bansir, a chariot builder, and Kobe, a musician. Both are skilled, both work hard, yet they're broke. They ask themselves, why do we toil our lives away while others grow rich without breaking a sweat? They seek out Arcad, the richest man in Babylon. Arcad doesn't give them a magic formula. He shares his origin story. He started as a lowly scribe recording grain transactions. He earned barely enough to survive. But one day, a wealthy moneylender named Algamish asked him to complete an urgent commission. Arcad worked day and night, delivered flawless work, and was offered payment. Instead of taking cash, Arcad asked for advice on how to build wealth. Algamish gave him one line: a part of all you earn is yours to keep. That's it. No crypto, no real estate syndications, no side hustles. Just keep a piece of everything you make. Arcad started with a copper coin, then another. Then he saved consistently. He didn't spend his savings. He invested it. He made mistakes. He lost money. But he learned. He applied the laws. Decades later, he owned businesses, lent money wisely, and became the richest man in Babylon. The lesson? Wealth isn't about how much you make. It's about what you keep, what you grow, and how long you stay consistent. The 7 cures for a lean purse. Cure number 1. Start thy purse to fattening. The 10% rule. Story: Arcad's first savings. Modern: auto transfer setup. Start thy purse to fattening. Save at least 10% of every income. Not 10% of what's left, 10% of what comes in. Period. Why it works? It forces prioritization. It removes decision fatigue. It compounds silently. Modern trap: I'll save when I make more. False. If you don't save at $3K per month, you won't save at $10K. Lifestyle inflation will eat it. Action: open a separate account. Automate 10% on payday. Treat it like a non-negotiable tax. Cure number 2. Control thy expenditures. The story of the merchant who bought luxuries but went bankrupt. Modern, budgeting versus tracking. Clason warns, necessities will always expand to equal thy income, unless thou dost protest. Translation? Parkinson's law of money. Your spending will rise to match your income, unless you actively cap it. Modern trap? I deserve this. It's only $50. Death by 1,000 microtransactions. Action? Use the 50-30-20 rule as a baseline, but audit quarterly. Ask, does this purchase align with my freedom goals or my ego? Cut the latter. Cure number 3. Make thy gold multiply. Story: the farmer who invested in a ship he knew nothing about. Modern: index funds versus stock picking. Savings alone die to inflation. Money must work. But Clason's rule isn't chase high returns, it's make your gold multiply safely. Modern trap? Meme stocks, leveraged crypto, guaranteed 20% monthly schemes. Action? Invest in broad market, low-cost index funds. Reinvest dividends. Let time and compound interest do the heavy lifting. 7 to 10% annual returns consistently beat 90% of active traders over 20 years. Cure number 4. Guard thy treasures from loss. The story: the brickmaker who lost everything to a jewel scam. Modern: due diligence and fiduciary advisors. The first principle of investment is security of principle. Never trust someone whose incentive isn't aligned with yours. Modern trap? Financial advisors who earn commissions on products, not performance. FOMO investing. Action: only invest with fiduciaries. Verify track records. Never invest in what you can't explain in 3 sentences. Protect the downside first. Upside takes care of itself. Cure number 5. Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. Story: the family who owned their home versus renters paying lifelong fees. Modern: housing as equity versus liability. Own your home. But with a caveat: buy within your means. A mortgage that consumes 40% of your income isn't wealth building, it's debt slavery. Action: aim for 25-30% max housing cost. Build equity, not stress. Renting isn't evil if you invest the difference. Cure number 6. Ensure a future income. Story: the aging merchant with no retirement plan. Modern: retirement accounts, insurance, emergency funds. Youth is a temporary advantage. You must prepare for when your body or industry slows down. Action: max out tax-advantaged accounts. 401k, IRA, Roth, or local equivalents. Build 3 to 6 months emergency fund. Get term life, disability insurance if others depend on you. Wealth isn't just accumulation, it's preservation. Cure number 7. Increase thy ability to earn. Story: the apprentice who mastered his craft and tripled his wages. Modern: skill stacking, AI literacy, negotiation. This is the most ignored rule. Your income is a reflection of your market value, not your hours, your value. Action: dedicate 5 hours per week to skill development. Learn high-income skills: sales, data analysis, AI prompting, copywriting, leadership. Negotiate raises. Switch jobs strategically. Your earning power is your wealth accelerator. The 5 Laws of Gold, Behavioral Finance Decoded. Clason condenses everything into 5 laws. Let's translate them through modern behavioral finance. Gold comes gladly to those who save 10%. The commitment device. Automation beats willpower. Set it and forget it. Gold labors for the wise owner. Compound interest and time. $500 per month at 8% equals about $700,000 in 30 years. Start early. Stay boring. Gold clings to cautious investors, under advice. The advisor filter. Seek fee-only fiduciaries. Avoid conflict of interest. Gold slips from the unfamiliar or unadvised. The competent circle. Warren Buffett's rule. Never step outside what you understand. Gold flees from impossible gains or greed. The dopamine trap. High returns equals high risk. Greed destroys portfolios. Consistency wins. These aren't suggestions. They're economic physics. Violate them and you bleed wealth. Respect them and wealth becomes mathematical.
The goddess of luck versus the god of action. One of the book's most profound chapters contrasts luck with action. People pray for opportunity, but Clason says, opportunity is a shy goddess. She doesn't visit the idol. She rewards preparation. The man who waits for the perfect market, the perfect job, or the perfect moment will wait forever. Babylon's successful merchants didn't wait. They acted. They failed. They adjusted. They acted again. Modern application? Stop waiting to feel ready. Start with 1%. Open the account. Make the first $50 investment. Send the first outreach email. Luck favors velocity. Action creates opportunity. Inaction guarantees regret. The Clay Tablets, Debt Freedom, and the 5-Step Escape Plan. Clason dedicates a chapter to a man drowning in debt. His solution? A 5-step system that still works today. Keep 10% for savings, even in debt. Why? It builds momentum and prevents future borrowing. Live on 70%, necessities plus modest comforts. Use 20% to pay down debt proportionally, snowball or avalanche method. Stop borrowing completely. Cut cards, freeze spending. Increase income, side work, skill upgrade, overtime. This isn't theoretical. This is how real people escape financial gravity. The key? Discipline plus consistency plus time. Debt isn't a moral failure. It's a math problem. Solve it systematically. The 2026 Implementation Blueprint, step by step. Knowledge without execution is entertainment. Here's your exact 30-day launch plan. Week 1. Foundation. Open high-yield savings plus brokerage account. Automate 10% from next paycheck. Track every expense for 7 days. Use an app or spreadsheet. Week 2. Optimization. Cancel 3 non-essential subscriptions. Negotiate 1 bill. Internet, insurance, phone. Set up retirement account contribution. Even $50. Week 3. Investment and skill. Buy your first index fund, e.g. VTI, VOO, or local equivalent. Enroll in 1 course to boost income skill. Read 1 chapter of a finance or investing book. Week 4, review and scale. Audit spending versus income. Increase savings rate to 12 to 15% if possible. Set 12-month wealth goal. $10,000 emergency fund, $500 invested monthly. Print this. Tape it to your mirror. Execute. Track. Adjust. Repeat. Why most people fail, and how to beat the traps. Let's be brutally honest. 90% of people will watch this, feel motivated, and do nothing. Why? The present bias trap. We value $100 today over $1,000 in 10 years. Solution? Automate. Remove choice. The comparison trap. Social media makes poverty feel normal. Solution? Mute influencers. Track net worth, not likes. The perfection trap. I'll start when I have more time, money. Solution? Start at 1%. Consistency greater than intensity. The complexity trap. Finance feels intimidating. Solution? Keep it simple. Save. Invest. Wait.
Ignore noise. Wealth isn't built by geniuses. It's built by persistent, disciplined, slightly boring people who refuse to quit. Babylon fell. Its walls crumbled. Its gold was scattered. But its principles remain untouched by time. Because money doesn't change. Human behavior does. And you control your behavior. You don't need a trust fund. You don't need a viral business. You need a system. A 10% rule. A guard against loss. A commitment to grow your skills. A refusal to chase illusions. Start small. Stay consistent. Let time work for you. In 5 years, you'll look back at today and wonder why you didn't start sooner. If this deep dive gave you clarity, hit subscribe. I release weekly breakdowns that turn complex wealth, psychology, and productivity principles into actionable systems. No fluff, no hype, just what works. Now, I want your word. Which of the 7 cures will you implement this week? Comment below. I read and reply to every single one. And if you're serious, download the free Babylon Wealth Tracker template linked in the description. It automates the 10% rule, tracks your 5 laws, and keeps you accountable. Remember, pay yourself first, protect your capital, increase your value. Let compounding do the rest. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay disciplined, stay focused, and build your Babylon.